Good afternoon, everyone. We would like to welcome you to the Delta Theta Delta Sorority Incorporated podcast for January. And our podcast today will be about purposeful, different types of self care of what you can do. So, I'm going to start off by letting our sorors that are on introduce themselves briefly. We're going to start with Mayani.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm Mama Yanni. I'm from Delta Theta Delta Sorority. I'm Miss Energizer, and I'm very energized. So, hi, everybody. Welcome aboard.
Very.
And next, we have Teresa.
Hi, my name is Sor Teresa, and I'm with the Maryland chapter.
And lastly but not least is Shannon.
Hello. Oh, let me turn the camera on. Hello, my name is Shannon. My soror name is Lady Prism. I'm part of the Delta Theta Delta Sorority Incorporated chapter, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right. Okay, so one of the things we're going to start off with for the day is purposeful self care. So pretty much when we talk about purposeful, I can't get my words out. I'm so sorry. Purposeful self care is like more than candles or quiet time. It's care with an intention. You choose. People may choose several different practices or different things that they may want to do. Um, what is purposeful self care. So, one of the questions that we see that people ask is, what does purposeful self care look like for you in the season of sisterhood and leadership?
I would say that you know with the purpose of of self care is being mental, having a mental mindset is make sure you do something for you is relaxing. Go to the spa, have a spa day. Go get your nails done. Sometimes you can go out to the movies by yourself. You don't have to always have somebody at the movies with you. And I used to go to Fridays. No, take the back. I used to go to Cheesecake Factory and sit in the back, um, and a table for one would be me with a glass of wine, something to eat, and just relax. And sometimes you can jot down or use a journal. That's the time that you
Mhm.
can sit down and write down things of what you want to happen. That's also a part of self care as well. Is also setting goals.
Okay, all right, Mayani. Another question would be, which self care habits have you outgrown, and which ones do you need to recommit to?
For me, I think I have to get in the habit of overextending myself and trying to be like everything to everybody, like all at once. And I used to do it because I felt like I was needed, but it left me like exhausted and just like emotionally drained. And I would say the habit that I need to recommit to is my well-being for my own purpose. And like journaling, like my auntie said, like sitting and writing. I need to prioritize journaling more because it'll get my emotions out when I don't have like really anybody else to talk to. My personal growth, meditation and prayer, definitely. Just habits like to comfort me and keep me grounded, like in my intentional movements every day in my everyday life.
Okay. Um, how do you balance caring for a sorority, your family, and yourself without feeling guilty? For me, I'm kind of a multitasker, and I know when to tap out. If I don't, I'm gonna crash out. So a lot of times it's like a minimal for me per day that I can do. And I'm always gonna be about my family because my family's always here with me, and just being with them, sorority life, I delegate so much time to that. And myself, I always try to take time for myself no matter what. I could be sitting in the middle of work and I'll just tune out and just go into thought of my own, because sometimes you have to do that, because if not, you'll get overstimulated or overwhelmed with doing, if you don't. One of the other questions was, in what ways does your self care directly impact how you show up for a soror?
I would say that, it does impact because they, showing up to make someone feel love, make sure that you be understanding and don't be feel, and understanding of how they feel. If they bring something to you, you, you address it and you help them along the way, and it will help, that person and be a big impact on their lives because you never know. The smaller things also in counts is better than the big things. So
Mm,
I would say that, it does, being respectful and be mindful of, when someone reach out to you.
Most
okay.
definitely.
Yeah. And one of the other questions was, what is your intentional self care practice you can implement this month that supports your purpose, not just your comfort?
For me, it would be taking downtime in the evenings, maybe like 30 minutes or maybe like even an hour to reflect on what I want to do as far as like supporting my family and my sorors and even like my personal goals. Um, that practice I would say isn't about comfort, it's about like connecting my purpose and maintaining the clarity that I have for my life. And it helped me stay grounded and it aligns with my mission and the sorority mission too. I'll encompass everything. It'll give me time out to like just think about things I want to do.
Okay. Now, Shannon, what's your comments to any of these questions that we have?
Um, well, I want to say that just the word purpose is just really I resonate with because there, I want to say I put myself on a bookshelf. I put myself on the shelf for a very long time because I was putting others first, like a people pleaser that I am. And it took a lot of change over the past few years for me to switch that mindset, and I'm currently still working on that mindset. So when I think of purpose, so one of those things is if I'm going to put myself first, self care has got to be top priority. Um, when I think of purpose, the state I think about is if I do something, I start off with the statement, "This is good for me because."
Mm.
And if I give an answer to it, so one of my self cares is I love taking care of my skin. So I do like a face care regime, and some days it'd be so busy that if I do my day and then I'll be like, I really don't want to do my night. It's getting late. I've been so busy. I should just go to sleep. And then I'll say, but this is good for me because, and then that right there, I know if I answer it, then I'm gonna do it. So that's one of the things that that resonates with me when I think about purpose and self care.
Okay. Just for purposeful self care, one of the things I did a little research. One of the things, as in like for leaders and sorors or just women who are in a leadership role or might have to lead on a daily basis, you know, or carry a responsibility, self care pretty much is not optional for them. That's what they were saying. Like in research studies, they're like, it's strategic. When you care for your mind, body, and spirit on purpose, you can show up clearer, stronger, and more present. Purposeful self care, is more sustainable, but it's not a survival. It's basically they're saying you're in a leadership skill that is it's basically survival mode. You have to basically set that time for yourself. If you don't, you're gonna like they say your kids say you're gonna cash out.
Hmm.
you know, it's like you have to like, and I know some people they just keep going and going and going, and you can see like you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but eventually if you don't stop and take time for yourself, you are gonna have like
Mhm.
a mental breakdown, mentally wise, things will happen um to that. But the next part you would build is your boundaries that honor your calling. So for those that will elaborate on what boundaries, boundaries are not walls. They're pretty much gates. They're gatekeepers. They help protect our time, our energy, and our assignments or whatever whatever we're here to do or what we're meant to do. Um, Pretty much when you know your calling, you must know that what doesn't have to get access to you, or what don't need access to you. You know, it's a be at, when they say be at peace. You know, sometimes you have to let things go. So that's pretty much when we say honor your boundaries or build a boundary. So some of the things with that, some of the questions that we got from that was, you know, what boundaries have you struggled to enforce within, you know, the sisterhood, your work, or your personal life, and why did you have to? And that would be for me within like sisterhood, just being also a member of the Eastern Star and being, you know, the founder of Delta Theta Delta. Sometimes you have to set boundaries because you have to know your limits. You have to have a structure because if not, people will run over you. And what I mean by that is in your time.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
a lot of times, you know, you were just happy they just want to waste your time. Don't. My time is just as precious as yours. My family is just as precious as yours. And so
Mhm.
sometimes you don't have to be in a mean way, but you have to keep it in a polite and professional way. And even at work, same way. My time is, you know, my time here, my 8 hours is just as pleasant as your 8 hours, you know. So be mindful that don't waste my time. Don't wait till, you know, if my hours are 8 to 5, don't wait to 4:30 to come bring me something to do that you know is gonna take
Mm-hmm.
hours to do. Because guess what? Being the person that I am, if you bring it to me at 4:30 and I leave at 5, guess what? When it's gonna get done, it'll get
Tomorrow.
done at 8:30 the next one. Cause what happens when I clock in at 8 o'clock, I gotta have
Yeah.
them 30 minutes of grace.
Right.
Then I
Right.
expect you, but don't expect me to jump through loopholes for something for you that you knew that you had to do earlier, or you knew, you know, I work in healthcare, you know, things happen. But I know that when you looking at the business side, you knew a couple hours ago, sis, you didn't have that done, or bro, you didn't have that done. That paperwork wasn't done. Don't
Mhm.
bring it to me the ninth hour and expect me to do, you know, turns like a gerbil on the wheel. I'm not. Okay. We all human and we here to work. But be mindful of my 8 hours just like you mindful of yours. My personal life too, because once I clock out, don't call me at home
Mm-hmm.
about my job. Cause guess what? It ain't gonna take till I come back at 8 o'clock. Right now, we off on Monday. Don't call me the weekend about something that got to be done. Cause guess what? I ain't gonna do it to Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
That's just it. You know what I'm saying? Be mindful. If somebody respect their with my boundary, respect their space. Is that, you know,
Mhm.
physically, mentally, whatever. I have a thing at work. Don't if you know my desk is my desk. I don't need you. I don't need you all up on me.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a couple feet, Cletus. You know, Cletus back up. And you know, that's just me. You know, even when I get home, I have a thing with my kids. Like, give me a couple minutes before you start digressing me with all this bumbo
All
jumbo.
of
You know, just things like that. You know, you just have to set boundaries for people, and you know, they don't have to be bad boundaries. They can be, you know, healthy boundaries. But like I said, you just have to put in. Sometimes you do have to get rude with people because they don't understand politeness, and that's when you have to, you know, double back and be like, hey, I meant such and such. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I told you not to do that. Don't do it again. But you know, it's you know, and people know when they hitting your points because they some of them are back. Some of them be like, okay, I get it. You know,
Mhm.
but that's just
Right.
that you have to set boundaries. I don't care what nobody people say. I don't. You do have to set boundaries for
You
people.
do.
Yes, you do.
Mhm.
Um, one of the other questions was, how do you discern when saying yes is aligned with your calling versus driven by obligation?
Mm.
Um, I would not just keep saying yes, 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 and you actually sometimes if you keep saying yes to things that you're gonna actually overexert yourself, you're gonna
Mhm.
become tired, and then you're gonna look at saying, "What did I do for my own self?"
Mm-hmm.
It's okay to
Mhm.
say yes, but you don't have to be obligated and keep saying yes, yes, yes. You're gonna have to say some no's sometimes. Because if you keep saying yes, you're gonna overexert yourself and you're gonna become tired and you're not gonna be wanting to do something for yourself. So I would say don't always be obligated. Say, say yes to some things and don't be obligated. And it's no, don't feel guilty when you say no.
Mhm.
Because I learned that with my own self that I say yes and I'm like, oh my gosh, I should have said no. I got 50
Yeah.
million things to do and I went through and I obligated to say yes. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't do that for myself. And I'm gonna tell you a situation that happened to me too on a bus. I never see this person ever in my life. I never saw her caught on the bus. She was none but an angel of God. She said, I did not know this lady. She said, you always doing things for other people, but what you do for yourself. She said, you so overexert yourself, you go through and do everything else. By the end of the day, you ain't do nothing for yourself. Because I say yes, yes, yes.
Okay. All right. Now, anybody else got to say they want to add to that one?
I want
Hey.
I want to add something. I don't like the I feel like the cues when it comes to yes or no, like why does yes or no have so many stigmas to it? Like when I think of yes, it's like a wolf in sheep's clothing. You want to be willing to help others and you say yes and you want to, give them that time, your space and energy, but then it can be manipulated and taken advantage of. Because
Sure
now,
can.
if I say yes to you, then you're gonna say, "Oh, if I like what you said, founder is that when you clock out at 5, and then they're gonna give you something at 4:30 because they know you gonna say yes. Now you don't manipulate me. Then when you say no, no is seen as negative. It's seen as you being selfish. It seems like, oh, you don't care about nobody. But I'm probably saying no because I got to protect my peace. I got to say no because I need to set boundaries. I need to make sure my gate is solid. And that's the only thing that is bothersome is that when the stigma that hangs between yes and no. So one thing I learned is that before I say yes, if somebody asks me, hey, can you help me with something, do something with me? I'll first off and ask, are you going to accept my input? Are you going to respect my input? And they'll be taken aback, like, well, what does that mean? Because now I set the boundary of, if are you going to respect my input? That means if I say something, if I do something, you're not going to take advantage of it. You're not going to disrespect it. Because then now you're left in the turmoil of the next time you ask me something, I'm going to think in my head of how you answer my question about my boundary, and then I'm either going to say no, but if you did respect it, I'll be more than happy to say yes again because now I'm in control of the yes and no.
Yeah. You know what? That I can't even disagree with.
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn to say, like I said, in a polite way. When in the workforce, to say it in a polite way, no, because just they got in the habit of, okay, let's just go. We can give it to Danielle. Danielle gonna do it. That if we don't know how to figure it out, Danielle gonna figure it out. So it's like it has turned into like a pet peeve. Like, oh, I have to worry about it. Danielle's gonna figure it out for us. Danielle got it. And I had to come in my mind, and I'm learning, and I'm still learning. As you get older, you get more humble, and you start to you get a little more, as older people say, you get a little more coofness to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So
Yeah.
instead of when I was younger, I just fly like, I'm not gonna do that. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna do that shit. Like that, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now
Right.
it's like you can see me in my mind processing it. I'm not gonna do it. Y'all can figure it out. Call IT. My major was I'm not an IT person here. Okay, that's just those about that's how I say it so plain, and it's not being rude. I'm not IT.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not your supervisor. Call your supervisor. But I no, let your supervisor tell you that. Okay, and as when I at work in my mind, I'll be saying I have no fucks given. Okay, because I gladly walk out the door. Oh, it's time for me to go. Oh, well, you should have asked me before I logged off my computer. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye bye. Bye bye. And I mean,
Right.
you have to be, because I used to be the yes person at work. Like literally the yes, like you. I was the helpful person. The person always came, and I ain't had no boundaries. Like I said, I had to set boundaries at my desk. They have papers all over my desk. Like, and in my mind, I be freaking out in my mind. Like, I don't like all these papers on my desk. I don't like these people touching my stuff on my desk. I was the quiet one, the easy going one. And like I said, it takes, I guess, sometimes in life, things have to happen or process for you to go through something. For you, either you're gonna spaz out, or if you don't, it's like a click, a switch that goes off, and you be like, oh, I gotta set these boundaries. Because if I don't, they just gonna keep doing what they doing. And
Yeah.
then you still have a few that come back and they'll try to test you, but it's up to you how you carry it.
Mhm.
You
I
know?
had to learn it too. I had to learn it
Mhm.
too. And it's like setting boundaries because I was like how you said, Danielle, it was like, bounded, just like you. I was always a yes person. And people used to get mad with me because I started saying no. I don't care. You used to get mad with me no more. I don't care.
Yep.
It's all about my self care. It's all about my health. It's all about how I feel. If I can't keep extending myself, because if you keep extending yourself, you ain't gonna have time for your own self.
You ain't gonna have time for yourself, and that's honestly that's true. Like you're not gonna have time for yourself, and like I say, I used to be like, oh, well, how they feel because I work around a lot of older people, and it's always I was always raised to respect your elders. You know what I mean? No matter
Mhm.
how long as they're older, you're supposed to respect them. But I'm at this point, like, oh no, y'all, and I say this to my kids all the time. Y'all got to realize that when these older people do these old tricks, ain't opening new doors, baby.
No,
And
Mhm.
they do it, and it's like, and what I think what triggered it for me after you see them, they do it, and then they get to laughing.
Yeah.
yes, and think
Mhm.
it's
You
funny.
know what I'm saying? They get to laughing, and that's the stuff that burn you up because you was like, okay, do I really need my job? Do I need this income? Or do I
Mhm.
want to blow this whole place up and set it off? You know what I'm saying? You gotta, and I think that's why I say I think myself because if they had been the younger version of me about 15 years ago, 20 years ago, probably would have set it off and walked right on out the door.
Yeah.
I would have done that
I
too.
would
You know what I'm
I
saying?
ain't, I ain't
You
coming back.
know, I've been known to go to a job, and I told him, and I said this to them one day. I said because when they was, I said, y'all, I've been known to go to a job. I haven't worked all the way up to lunchtime and ain't came back.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I see that one.
I have got to the parking lot in the morning and said, "No, ma'am,"
Yeah.
and called my and sat. Actually, and this is no lie. I went to work. I worked the whole week at this place. I'm not gonna name it. I went to work a whole week. I complained. I was complaining, not complaining to my husband about it. So one day I went on a lunch break. I went to Wegmans, and then you know how you walk around, you see the food. I was talking to my husband on the phone. I said, "I'm really not feeling this," and he was like, "Well, so what are you gonna do?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "But I ain't really feeling." He said, "What, you gonna come home?" He said, "You quitting?" I said, "I don't know. Should I?" He was like, "It's on you." He was he just like that. It's on you. If you ain't quitting, ain't no need of you building. Ain't no need of you being there. You know what I'm saying? So
Right, right.
I walked around Wegmans. I got me some lunch and got food for dinner. Before I go home, I got in my car. I drove home. I mean, because I mean, it was overstimulating, and I was just like, okay, I understand. I've been trained to do this, but like I said, this is where the boundaries come in. I don't need you hovering over me. Like I'm the type of person when I work, I like to be left alone. If once I learn something and you got me doing this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and you done gave this to me, leave me alone.
Mhm.
Okay, I don't need you
Yeah,
every
I don't like
5 minutes.
nobody
I don't
walking
like
over
the
me.
micromanagement type thing. So it never works well with me. So yeah, I left on my lunch break, and what I gladly did, I took my badge and I mailed it back to them, and they called me back and asked me to come back, and I said no.
Uh,
So I mean, it happens. I worked at HR
Yeah.
with one of the nurses. I worked in the jail. Well, you know, they couldn't. The young man didn't like to be confined. He didn't understand the severity of when you work in the jail. That when you get there, it ain't really no coming back out to time to go home. But when you
Mhm.
go back out, you got to come through the whole same process coming
Right,
in
you
because
do.
they got to check you can't have your cell phones or nothing like that in there. So he decided that, hey, look, he ain't even going on lunch break. He said he was going to his car. He got his car and he left and quit.
yeah. Mhm.
Oh wow, he said no, no,
I mean,
I'm not working
your
on a job
mental
like this.
your mental has to be something else to work inside of a jail system. I'm just gonna tell you,
Mhm.
you got to have a strong mentality to work inside of there. I'll tell
Yeah.
anybody that. But
Yeah, my dad
what?
worked for
Uh,
corrections. I said my dad did corrections for years.
you got to be strong will. And one of the other questions was, what does a healthy boundary look like without distancing yourself from your sisterhood or your family or your job?
actually like this question. This was like one of my most favorite questions. It's because I'm still kind of like a new member, right? So you know how you got that excitement where like every
Mhm.
event or every like social, every like meeting, like you want to be there because I didn't want to feel like I was coming off as like disrespectful or not wanting to participate. But maintaining a healthy boundary as far as like the sisterhood will protect my energy and my purpose. And even when I say no, it don't have to come off as being like I'm don't want to participate. Like setting boundaries, like it could be clear and respectful to the sisterhood.
Mhm.
Just for instance, like if an event came up and I'm not able to physically be there, I can do other stuff, maybe like promote it or help like organize it on the back end instead of
Mhm.
always feeling the need to show up. It's like other ways I can participate in community service or social events or even like meetings other than like being there, just like help organizing and stuff. So that will like set a clear boundary for me actually wanting to be a part of the sisterhood and participating with my source and actually having time for myself also. Yeah, I gotta like learn that even like honestly, I'm like being a part of Delta Theta Delta has honestly changed my life as far as like connecting with females. So I was really excited about it. But then you got to play into like other parts of your life, like job and going to school and
Mm-hmm.
friends and
Mhm.
family and children.
Right.
And so you have to set healthy boundaries, and doesn't always have to come across as not wanting to participate.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Anybody else? Anybody else got anything they gonna add to that? Anybody?
I say
Okay.
that you always have to set boundaries. You
Mhm.
can't always be a yes person.
Mm-hmm.
Because I learned that as being as 50. It took me a while to get there, but I had to say, it's okay to say you're not gonna be able to meet at some things. It's
Yeah.
okay to not feel guilty because sometimes you feel guilty because you're always a yes person, and sometimes you feel guilty sometimes, but you have to like, you know what? It's all about like Teresa said, it's always setting boundaries. You have to set boundaries in your life, and you can always do things on the back end to be able to be a part of your participation because you got to look like you can't keep stretching yourself thin, like my father used to say. Can't stretch
Mhm.
yourself thin because if you stretch yourself thin, you ain't gonna be no good to nobody else. If you no good, it's your self care and your health and everything is obedient because you gotta be obedient because your body is your temple and you have to be obedient because if you don't be obedient, you're gonna cause yourself when you don't have enough sleep, you don't have enough rest, and you're constantly doing this and doing this. What you think you're doing to your health? You
Yeah.
put your health down. Your health is going down without you even realizing it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You can ask my aunt. I'm quick to put my phone on do not disturb now.
Yes, she do.
Girl, girl, what I tell you,
Yes, she does.
I had
When
a
I
text
say I got to
message.
learn that, it's
Yeah,
because
I
I
told
always
her.
have my phone open. It's
Yeah.
because I
Yo.
say I always tell her I respect you for that. It's because
Hmm.
you have to say, okay, I know somebody who you had to ask them. They put you on a schedule to
Yeah.
have a
That's on my
conversation with them.
schedule. Hmm.
They say I
I
got to
told her
schedule
that's
you
what I
in to say, okay, I'm going to talk to you on the phone.
do. Hmm.
And I say, wow, that is obedient.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to sometimes because, like I said, I'll be sitting there reading text messages sometimes. Now, thank God with Apple and certain ones, they'll say you done read the message. So I done
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
learned
I
now
like that
sometimes.
part now.
A lot of learn I don't even click on it. So if it,
Mm-hmm.
now when they read, I don't know how this next because Apple just sent another update. I don't know if anybody got it already, but
Yeah,
maybe
I
y'all
ain't
can
updated.
tell me.
I ain't
Mine
got
just said
that.
it's coming tonight. So I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
this update, this last one we had. You could just see it roll across the phone or what they
Mm-hmm.
asking or what they saying, and I don't. It's either you want to entertain it or not. And I a lot of sometimes I just depending on the mood I'm in.
Hmm.
Like I said, you ain't got to deal with it.
Hmm.
And that's just how it is. One of the other questions was, have you ever ignored a boundary or felt it affect your spirit, energy, or leadership? And what did you learn? For me, I would say I haven't ignored boundaries, but I do know when something don't sit well, and I tell people a lot of times, just in my spirit, a lot of times I don't fool with it, or if I feel like the energy is off to me with certain things or with people, I'm not gonna fool with them. Or if I have been fooling with people and I feel like, okay, if I'm trying to level up or go up a level, I'm trying to neutralize something or become, come out of something and move on to the next journey and phase in my life, and I feel like whatever you got going on, I done set that boundary. You don't feel that boundary, you don't care about my boundary, or you feel like, or you still with the same foolishness, or you still trying to do whatever, and my spirit don't sit right, I'm not gonna fool with it. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
gonna fool with the person. You know what I'm saying? I would gladly cut a person off, and I'll stand on what I say. And if it
Mm-hmm.
affects others in the process of that, because
Oh,
I call them casualties in that
Mhm.
situation,
Mhm.
Mhm.
just a casualty. It's nothing against you, but my thing is if your loyalty is to that person and they with the shits, I'm just gonna say it like that. They with the shits. I gotta let you go with them too. But don't expect
mm-hmm.
me to be pleasant to that person or be hunky dory with that person when I know in my spirit and or the energy ain't right. I want them people who are gonna be there.
That's right.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
I want them people.
Mhm.
So if you just FYI, if you invite me somewhere and then you already know me and Susie don't get along, or me and Susie ain't on the
Mm-hmm.
best of terms, or
Mhm.
I heard you say something about Susie that I know that went right or I don't like, and you say Susie gonna be there, don't expect me to show up.
That's
Now, if there's a
Mhm.
party and you giving somebody a party, I gladly send them a gift later on at my own leisure.
mm-hmm.
But don't expect me to be there because I'm gonna tell you, my spirit ain't gonna sit real, and my energy gonna be real off. My facial expressions give off a lot of, you know what I'm saying. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I cut a person off. Like I won't say much to them, and they can probably feel my vibe. But yeah, yeah, yeah. Even when it
Yep.
comes down to leadership, when if I see you move funny, because being
I
in a
can't
leadership
hear
position
you.
where I've been with others that's as equally as me, and I
Mhm.
see them move funny, I will move myself out the equation and let them have it.
Yeah.
I've done it before and let them figure it out. And it ain't nothing against you and ain't nothing for you, but I just can't deal with you.
Protect
I
Mhm.
won't be going down that rabbit hole with you and acquiring
Mhm.
whatever you're acquiring because your energy just ain't working right.
What
And
happened? I can't hear.
we can hear
Mhm.
you. Can you hear? Can you hear us?
She probably can't.
Hmm.
Mm.
She looking at her phone like, what happened? But
Oh.
I
yeah,
can't hear Founder.
I don't know.
Um.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
I
hear
want to
you,
chime
but
in
I
with this
can't hear
question as
Founder or
well.
nobody.
So, if I may, I want to be personal. I underwent weight loss surgery,
Mm-hmm.
and the biggest hurdle was not turning to food when my emotions rise up, because I can't do
Mhm.
that anymore. Like I
Mm-hmm.
can't go and like if I'm feeling
Can you
happy,
hear
sad,
them?
stressed, or whatever, I can't soothe myself by just going to food and eat anything because my diet is restricted from certain things that I no longer can have in my diet. So now, so especially when it comes to stress, is that I will have because I cannot turn to food. I was shut down, and I
Mhm.
realized that I made food a boundary because what would happen is if I got stressed, I had me a little snack or eat something, and then became a boundary, not a healthy boundary, a very unhealthy boundary, and then I swept it, and then that would make what I feel sweep under the rug, and then I no longer, and then I would refuse to speak on my feelings or how I felt about the situation, or not to say confront, but to just properly address where how it affected me. So now that I no longer have that unhealthy, what I learned is that being putting myself in a situation to my benefit, which was the weight loss surgery, is
Mhm.
that I was when I do get stressed, it's like I'll just shut down because I can't go to food. But when I do shut down, now instead of worrying about eating, I just start to think and reflect. And
Mhm.
now I'm using my mouth in a healthier, purposeful manner because when I do get stressed or somebody do um put me in a space that I was not comfortable in, and I need to address it. Now I'll address it instead of wanting to have a snack or something. I will go ahead and address how I feel, and I'll say, "Hey, what happened between us? I do not feel comfortable with it." And what I also learned is that at the end of the day, the end of the day will come, meaning that the world's going to keep turning. So if I shut down to reset myself, um, and protect my peace, you're going to keep moving.
Mhm.
I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to keep doing me. Sometimes you need to speak, and there's a time, like it says, there's a time to speak, and there's a time to stay silent. And I've learned that staying silent, if I'm going to stay silent, I need to execute across the board. I will shut myself from that space, and focus my energy on and keeping myself intact as overall protecting my peace.
Mhm.
That's what I definitely learned. So now my healthy boundary is more so protecting my peace and making sure that if to express being able to express myself verbally as opposed to accompanying my and that giving me comfort as opposed to turning to food for comfort,
Right.
in an unhealthy way.
Mhm.
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 True.
Yeah, I mean that is true. You know, and so with that, what boundaries do you need to establish or strengthen for this year and going forth into the future for your peace and your purpose?
I would say, that your peace is everything. Um,
Mhm.
your peace gets you with a better mindset.
Mhm.
Your strength is because your peace, because your peace will give you the strength. Um, I would say that when you set boundaries and you set the way how you instructed, that don't let people disturb your peace,
Mhm.
so
I
you
have
can
so many
strengthen
boundaries I
yourself,
need to strengthen.
and then you can say
Now that I'm in a different chapter of my life, there are a lot of boundaries that I have that I need to strengthen. Just one being my accountability, because my accountability boundary. Because I'll start. Yeah, actually, I'll start with that one because now that I'm in this new chapter, I am learning myself all over again. Just like how Miyagi has mentioned, lessons sometimes don't happen in our time frame. It can happen sooner or later in
Mhm.
life, and it is happening later in my life. But I'm okay because the end. I'm okay with that because I'm learning that lesson. So I'm learning myself in a space that I truly enjoy, and one of the boundaries I want to strengthen, so with my accountability strengthened, I want to strengthen it because now, because it's going to help me better myself, and it's going to help me uh, fulfill my inner purpose that I'm learning about that I want to have within myself. Um, So when I think of accountability, I want to, and as you had mentioned, Danielle, of it being a gate. Now I was like, well, then if I think of accountability, what have I put in that space? The
Mhm.
sorority keeps me accountable. Um, this new chapter in my life of things that I'm doing now that I've never been able to do, and it's benefiting me in a healthy way. I put that in my accountability, put that in that space of my accountability boundary, and that's pretty much what I had to say about it so far.
right. And you always gotta keep, what I'm saying. You always can be mindful of your peace.
Yeah.
You have to, because I feel as though overall for the 2026, my peace is everything. Even
That's
though I know I'm a caregiver, and sometimes I had to learn how to say, I told my mom, like, "Ma, I'm not coming over today," and I had to be okay with it because I know nobody else gonna look out. People say, "Oh yeah, we gonna do the X, Y, Z." Man, go ahead. If you want to do something, and I always tell people, if you want to do something, you will do it.
Mhm.
mhm.
Don't tell me
Mhm.
that you're gonna do something because I'm gonna look for it. Just don't, just do it. Don't tell me, just do it. And it's that, and I always say, that accountability is everything. Accountability is keeping God first. If you don't, or whoever you serve, keeping God first and keep Him first in your life, everything will flow. And I always say to people, I ain't worrying about nothing. I used to be a little worrying, and my father used to call me a worrying. I ain't doing it no more. Not doing it. He said, "Money, what you worrying for?" I said, "You know what? I got it, Daddy. You going on, but right here, I got it now. It took me a long time to get it, but I got it now." I said, "Guess what? I'm laying there at the feet, and I'm keeping moving."
Yeah, that's how you have to be. Like I said, you know, you have to establish your boundaries. And I just learned when it comes to certain situations and certain things, you just got to be at peace with it. You got to just sometimes roll with the punches, and you have to accept what it is, because that's all you going. That's just it. You know what I mean? And like you said, like Mayana, you used to where I used to be saying like, well, what we gonna do? What we gonna do? When you have plateaued out to a certain level and you know you can't go no further, you done hit where you supposed to hit. It's only you done seen where you can be and where you know where you going. So sometimes you just got to be like, okay, forget it. What come with this is my motto. What come with May? What else can
That's
you
it,
throw on me? Because I already been through to the wolves. So what else can you throw on me?
right? Yeah,
Cause
you right.
I'm gonna come back regardless. When I come back, I'm gonna come back better, and my attitude gonna be worse than what it was before. So I tell people that all the time. I burn bridges for reasons. When I burn that bridge, I stand on the other side and smoke that cigarette because I ain't got no reason to go back over there. So you better buckle up, Buttercup, because it's gonna be a tight ride for you when dealing with me. Because I probably won't even deal with you no more.
That's right.
I'm my like mentally. I like you said, mentally. I done drove you out. So yeah, my boundaries. So anything to protect my peace.
Mm-hmm.
You
I'm
got
one of them
to.
people. I didn't, and I know y'all probably see a lot of the memes where people say, "I'm protecting my peace." I'm one of them people where I didn't just buy the house just to say I got the house. I bought the house to be at peace. I brought the house to get away from a lot of people, so that way you got to call me. But I bet I don't even want you to call me. I don't even want you to come to my house. Okay? I'm one of those type of people. I don't need to. You know, some people say, "Girl, I'm going out this week. I'm going out this week." They always party and they always party. You see them, they always in the street party. Me, I'm comfortable at home looking at Netflix, Tubi. Where you at home? You ain't gonna where
No.
I'm at peace. Like when I say literally, I am at peace. Like these kids can be running around here as long as the house ain't burning down. I don't care what they do. I am at peace. That's how I set boundaries with people. When people that you done been, when like Mariana said, when you done been through so much and you've been everywhere, they done shook you everywhere but left. It's just
Mm-hmm.
at that point you just like go ahead. You know
Do you?
that's how you gotta be. Just go ahead. Like my new thing for Twitter. I said Twitter. When somebody say something, I don't feel it. Oh, okay, all right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is it. I'm gonna leave you there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't saying I agree with it. I ain't saying I don't. It's just okay. I'm not here
It's
to
like
argue.
whatever.
Less stress on me, and because arguing causes stress. Stress
Yeah.
will
Yes, it does.
it kills you.
It
So guess
does.
what? I'm trying to be here for many more years. So I ain't trying to get stressed out about nothing. And that's why when people ask me talking about, most people my age, they starting to get gray hairs all over their heads. So girl, you ain't got no gray hairs. You sure you your age? Yes, I am. I ain't gonna let nothing stress me out. You could be out there butterball naked at the front door. Guess what? How you doing? I'm having a
There you go. Yep.
yeah, like you got to be at peace, and people until you learn to be at peace with yourself, you're not gonna be able to be peaceful with others.
Mm-hmm.
That's
You
true.
know?
That's very true.
Yeah,
You gotta be, you gotta have that peace. That peace is everything.
yeah.
You know, I made my peace with my crazy knucklehead mama side family. I made my peace. I said, y'all, I left y'all in many years. They called my sister, asked my sister. My sister don't even speak to me. Deuces.
You better than
I
me.
had to make that peace.
I speak, baby, because I want you to know that I know what you did.
Mm-hmm.
Because people be like, well, you got to say something, baby. I ain't got to say nothing because eventually, as time go, time will tell, and time will tell the story.
That's right.
So, and then not only that, you have a tendency to keep doing stuff. to others. So eventually your time gonna run out. Like I
Mhm.
if you playing with a full deck of cards, baby, your cards gonna run out eventually.
Sure
When they
will.
do, you out of gas. So what you gonna do? That's
That's
all
true.
I can say to you. You know, I look at people crazy and they be like, why you looking at me? Because you got something with you, but you stay over there and I'm gonna stay over here.
Mhm.
But you can't come
Deck
over
of
here with me.
cards is
That's all I
ending.
know. Yeah. That's how you gotta keep them.
Yeah,
And one of the last things that
when
we
your
found
deck
was
run out, like you said,
mhm,
your deck run out.
mhm.
Mhm.
And one of the last things that people deal with is refilling so that you can pour with impact. So pretty much what that is you can't pour into anybody or into anything without on an empty cup. So
That's
more
right.
importantly, your cup got to be full before you pour into somebody else. So
Yeah.
basically what that means is before you go doing and trying to help, you got to make sure yourself is correct before you go
Mhm.
over here and try to teach somebody else.
Mhm.
So some of the things that people, they ask is, how do you currently know when your cup is running low?
I think for me, like, I'm naturally like a reserved person or like quiet, but when I build a connection with somebody, then I'm lively and I'll talk to you like every day. And when I notice that my cup is running low, it's like when I don't want to be bothered, like with anybody, like everything like seems to like irritate me. And I feel
Mhm.
like tired. I just like want to be by myself. And like what Shannon was saying, like running my Cinnabons, just eat Cinnabons all day. But that's how I know that my cup is
Mine
feeling
is
low
kind of
because
funny.
I enjoy, especially like when I have a bond with somebody, I enjoy being interactive with them. But when my cup is feeling, I just don't have the energy for anything.
Mhm.
So it's just I can't show up. I can't show up for myself. I definitely can't show up for you. But to
Mhm.
just take the time to like pause and like reset. And that's another thing with setting boundaries. Once I'm going through that, I have to like make it known, like, this is the time where I need time for myself. And it's not like me being mean. And I had to get that. Like I've always like I think Shannon said being a people pleaser. Like I always wanted to be like yes, and I always wanted to be the one that somebody depend on. But then it got to the point where I had nothing left to give. I didn't. And I had to
Mhm.
take myself,
That's very true.
you know.
Yeah.
Because sometimes that does happen.
Hmm.
That happened to me. Plenty of times. Like, look, I just don't want to talk to nobody. And sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
well,
Hmm.
I really don't want to pick up my phone.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
And
don't want to answer.
and I think people sometimes they get it. A lot of times with me, I think a lot of people get it mixed up as being selfish, or they get it as mixed up as being don't want to be bothered. But it's
Or
that
something
you
is
have.
wrong. I'm like,
It's
what's
just
like,
right. Like what's
Yeah,
wrong?
people always ask me what's wrong too.
So why you acting like that? It's not that. It's just that it's like it's not being able to explain that I need time to myself or I need time to gather myself before I can deal with anybody else. And they take it as a sign of being, having an attitude or
Mhm.
Yep.
not wanting to be
They think
bothered
you being
or being
easy.
selfish. But it's really not. It's just you trying to just put the pieces together, trying to because you have exerted yourself so many ways, or you trying to figure out what can you do not to exert yourself so many ways that it can be frustrating to yourself, but you're dealing with it internally and they don't understand it's something that you're
Mhm.
dealing with internally. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Like sometimes you can't even like explain like what's going on.
Mm-mm.
Nope,
Like, you just need to
you
like
can't.
sit in quiet,
No, you
like,
can't.
be by yourself. Like you don't have the words for it.
Mm-mm.
And sometimes they're like, oh Lord, I need to reconnect. Oh
That
Lord,
be
how
that
many
be
times?
and that be me a lot of times, and it's like you can't figure, like you said, Teresa, you can't find the words for it, and that be when you got the moments by yourself, you just break down because you don't have the answer, you don't have the words, you don't know where to turn because if you try to, you don't want to turn to nobody because you really don't want them to know what you're dealing with internally because it's
Mhm.
just something that you dealing with that you got to deal with. So
Right.
it's like it's that those as what we say, those quiet moments that you have because you just I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, but then you like, I'm gonna get through it. Pick yourself up. I gotta pick
Yep.
myself up. I gotta keep, I gotta keep pushing.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's hard because you gotta
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, how can I get this? How can I refill myself? How can I
Mm-hmm.
pick myself back up? And you trying to figure out. And then some people are like, oh, you sure you okay? I can't tell you.
You can't take. You just gotta
I really
smile
can't
and be like,
say.
I'm okay.
Like, oh, I'm there for you. Like sometimes you don't want nobody like be
Right.
there.
You can't even be there for yourself because you're trying to
Yeah.
figure it out. Like, I'll figure it out. And sometimes I'll be like, I'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. I'll figure it out. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I'll figure it out. Y'all don't worry
But
about
what's wrong? What I can do?
it. Yep.
It's not what you
Nothing.
can
Like
do.
leave me alone.
Nothing. It ain't nothing. Nothing you can do.
Mhm.
It's just something, you know.
And it's
Mhm.
hard sometimes. It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
hard to pick back up that place. It's
Yeah.
hard to
Oh, it
refine
is.
yourself.
Yeah, it is. So, what are your personal refill indicators, the signs that tell you it's to pause or to reset? For me, like I said, it's those quiet moments when me, it's always those quiet moments on the way to work. Or and I'm in the car by myself, just and it's always that one song or something that just hit you that ain't hit you and you just by yourself and it comes and that's when I know that okay,
Yeah.
I need to take a pause because shit just got real or I done got too much into something and it's overwhelming me like I'm overstimulated and I need to take a time out. And that's when those are those moments where I go off and I just people be like, well, I ain't heard from you or what's wrong with you. That's that time. Cause that's when I know I need to that's my refill. Like I need to just sit around and get myself together. It ain't that I got to do anything. But for me, I sometimes go hard into doing like my little crafts or just making little things. That's my like refilling phase to just tune stuff out. I
Yeah.
don't even care what's going on. I might not want nothing to eat. I don't want to do nothing. It's just that
Mhm.
I just don't want to be bothered. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's just how I know for me.
Yeah.
You know.
Like you get that little fuzzy, you get that feeling on the inside that don't
Mm-hmm.
feel, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you try to. I don't care what you try to do. You try to do multiple things to try to pick yourself up, and you're like, I feel heavy. I feel heavy.
And see what
And
it used to be when my kids were younger, because you trying to not let them see what you're going through. I would
right,
turn, like Shannon said earlier, I would turn to food.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is sweets. I don't care what it was, a Snickers bar, ice cream,
I
Skittles, and I've done it time to time. I've learned now to just try to start back. Like every time you see I'm eating something sweet, donuts, you know, cookies, cakes, pies, you know what I'm saying? It would always, and that would be a trigger. That would be my go-to. That would be my trigger when I couldn't figure it out, and I be in. That was like my comfort. Or always having something like some type of other type of junk food. I would just embellish myself in it, and I
Yeah.
had to learn that okay, I can't keep doing it because now I'm not only affecting my mental, but I'm affecting my health.
Mm-hmm.
So
mine
that
was
was one
peach
of the things.
rings. Mine was
Mm-hmm.
peach rings.
Peach
It was
rings.
I love the apples. It was
Hey,
the
what kind
apple
of
O's. I would go get a 7-Eleven Slurpee. Oh my God, y'all like McDonald's milkshake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to do fries in a milkshake
Yeah, like I
at our
said.
favorite
Mhm.
my favorite store.
Pizza. I
Yeah,
can eat a I used to can eat a whole large pizza by myself.
Mm.
Oh, whoa.
wow, that's a
Yeah.
I
lot.
Hey.
bucket and my husband said I can buy buckets of ice cream like I can just eat ice cream, just eat.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
Um
yep.
look, sneaking cookies. Who girl, y'all just but I had to, and I'm still in the process. I have to I get frustrated, don't go reach for no type of sweets. Even at work, I would have what I'm saying, in my desk sweets, candies, or I'll go run down to the vending machine or the cafeteria and get sweets, cookies. And I had to learn. I had an episode where I got to breaking out, and I couldn't figure out why I keep breaking out. I just keep, I just swell up like I'm having an allergic reaction,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and that's probably what it was. I had to stop. You reduce it, and that's why I say I had to. So now I have to control myself. Now it's water, water. Don't.
There you go.
So yeah, I had to understand. But yeah. So, who or what helps you refill in a way that feels genuine and not forced?
Genuine is not voice. So
Mm,
I would, basically that the refill is what I read. Refill is when I refresh and I ask God to help refill my spirit because I need my cup is empty. I need a refill. I need a refresh, and that's what I had to do a silent treatment. Like people call me because people always calling me and say, tell me their problems. I had to realize that I wear your problems, and I
Mm-hmm.
had to stop wearing people problems and had to learn how to wear my own and focus on my own. So if I focus on my own, but I had to not let your problems attach to mine.
Mm-hmm.
So that caused me to get my refill. Um,
Mm.
to understanding that I can't let your problems and people problems used to attach to my spirit. So I had to learn how to let people problems attach to my spirit because when they attach to my spirit, that means you attach it to my inner spirit. I can't let you because I can't. That means I won't be any helpful to anybody else if I let your problems attach to mine and you weigh down me.
Yeah.
So my refill is don't let people problems attach to my spirit so my spirit can be refilled.
Mhm.
All right. Who else? Janelle? She's sitting there. Can you hear us now, Janelle?
It's the same what Mayoni has said because I don't let nobody. For me this year, I haven't let nobody do my spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I just ignore people and their problems because their problems can sink into your mental, and I don't do.
Mm.
I don't do that.
I think some people, like you, just to elaborate on what you said, like, you don't deal with people problems and their mental. Some
Yes,
people don't understand. They love misery. So they
Mm.
yes,
don't know how to leave problems alone.
Yeah.
So when it comes to I don't deal with them people.
Yeah. Or
I just,
sometimes people like come to you for
mm-hmm.
advice like over and
Yep.
over and over for the same problem. Like you're not listening. So what's the point of
And
me talking to you? Just
that
yes.
go
part,
ahead, guys.
and
Continue to be
then
miserable. Continue to
that
deal with.
that part too. But then at the same time, you keep coming to me with the same problem. Evidently, it's not the people around you that you keep saying causing the problems. Is you.
It's you. Yeah.
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 It's you. You
Yeah.
need to evaluate yourself. Cut everybody else off, and you will see that it's you. Because if it keep, I just having a situation with someone else. The young lady kept saying, she said, everybody keeps leaving. They keep leaving. They come. They keep leaving. They come. They keep leaving. But if you starting over and and you're doing the same process, and it's going and it's different people and they're doing the same thing, that's you.
That's right.
Yep.
Mhm.
I don't mean, I say I'm not trying to be rude, but you might need to take. And I always say this just be jokingly, but I be sometimes be say, take a couple mango seasons back, sis, because that might not be for you. I'm just gonna be
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
honest. Like you might need to take a couple mango seasons back and evaluate yourself before you try to jump out there and start this process all over again. Because I don't really think it's the people. I think it's you.
That's right.
Yeah.
You
And you
know,
have
no harm was intended, but you got to understand that sometimes it ain't always the people, and that's why I say, so
Mm-hmm.
you got to understand your feelings might not be where it needs to be at this time, and sometimes, like one of y'all said earlier, there's always a time and a place. Maybe
That's
this is not, this might be the place, but this ain't the time.
that's right.
So you have to weigh, it's like a Libra scale. You got to weigh your options of what's best for you. This goes back to your boundaries. You might
Mm-hmm.
not set up good enough boundaries to understand that these people got boundaries too, and that you out of the boundary point.
Mhm.
you
So
have to.
how does refilling, allowing you to pour into your sisterhood or others with love, patience, and impact?
Well, I'm really big on like interaction with people, and I want every interaction that I have with somebody to be like intentional, not just feel like I'm just like going with the motions. And being able to like refill or like knowing that I need to refill makes me like more engaged or like emotionally available. And one thing that I enjoy is like mentoring and teaching. So with that, refilling will give you like the patience to encourage somebody or like have empathy or like what they're going through. So it just like prevents me from I guess being more sustainable, being able to like lead and support somebody and not feel like depleted or like burnt out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would think so too. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, what does pouring with impact look like for you as a soror for 2026? For me, like I said, being considerate of others, their feelings, My personal boundaries, their personal boundaries, because sometimes, you know, when talking to people, whether when people call you and you don't answer, then they start to text you. A lot of times, even if they text you or email you, sometimes you might have to pick up the phone and just, that's my thing, to actually have them explain what they say, because text messages and emails can be taken out of text sometimes and
Mhm.
not understanding. So that's another boundary that we have to understand, that with today's world, we all AI generated things and different things that we go through. Sometimes you still have to pick up the phone and verbally hear someone, or verbally say something, or you have to be in person to somebody, because when we're working with all these other different devices and different things that we can use to help mediate things, they may not come out the way that we want them to come out. So that's like a new type of boundary that we are developing as we go into the future. And I think that's something that we have to look into and try to, because it's going to impact a lot of us that deal with that, because that's the new way for the future.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um,
Um,
Anybody else got anything but that one? Nobody.
I want to add, for me, um, I am making it a personal mission to encourage. There's no other way of putting it, so I'm not going to sugarcoat. Of being of I'm on a mission of encouraging being selfish, because we are quick to pour our cup into so many other cups, and then we left empty. And then I said, so then who am I to who can I blame for that? I can't blame nobody else but me, because if I'm when you say pour into my cup belongs to me. So I
Mhm.
am in control of that cup. There's been situations where, so one thing was when I used to work 10-hour shifts, I had one day off.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to a friend of mine who they're not able to drive, so I used to offer to, hey, well, the day I'm off, if you have an appointment, keyword if, then I would take you there, so so you can get to your ride, as the show of support of that friend. It got to the point that they called me and said, hey, I got an appointment. If my day was on Tuesday, hey, I made my appointment on Tuesday because I know you off. Not, hey, are you available? Hey, would you be okay? Not, don't even ask. You just simply do that. Just simply like that. There have been times because when food was my biggest comforter, that um people would say, or colleagues would say, or friends or colleagues or so, as we're hanging out, and they're like, "Oh, I can't finish my plate, but here you go, Shannon, you can have it." You think I know
Oh.
not saying I know you can fill my plate, but they're indirectly saying it when you hand me your plate of your leftovers. I said, "Well, what?" I said, "Hold on,
Mhm.
enough is enough." And then now I'm going to be selfish. Sometimes, sometimes about so one of the current things is that sometimes I'll like I have a dog, and I call her name's Pepper, but she's a Dino. She's a big dog. So sometimes it may take myself and my husband to tag team her to tag her for the day, but then for the most part I usually tend to her in the morning, and then in the evening I don't mind tending. I may help my husband to tend to her in the evening, and he got so comfortable with it that it's at the point he don't be like, he always say, "Hey, can you help me?" and nothing like that. And it was so one day I was just so tired. I said, you know what? Wait a minute. Why am I pouring my cup? Why am I pouring this cup? No, I want to pour my cup into doing something else. Like maybe I want to. Or prime example, when I was working on crossing over, I had to do my study, so I do it in the evening after work. I walked in that house one day. He looked at me like, "Help!" I said to myself, I looked at him and said, "You're gonna be fine." And I walked right upstairs so I could focus on studying. And that's where I poured my cup at. And guess what? He was fine. The dog is healthy. He made it alive. He's good.
Oh
He's
no.
good. I said, no,
Oh.
I don't want to do that. Even at my job, what I like about it is because now that I'm focusing on controlling my cup, protecting my peace, it not only I'm not only encouraging myself to better myself, but I'm also letting those boundaries be step when I teach. So I'm instructing new hires. Sometimes I'll say, all y'all go here for break. And as soon as they go on break, they come at me asking me questions. I said, I said, no, this is break time. That so if our break ends at 11:30, they'll ask me a question. Well, I'm confused about this. I said, you can ask me at 11:30. But guess what I also do? When it's time to teach, always say, if you have a question, no one controls this classroom but me. So if you have a question and you need to answer, and you need assistance on something, you ask me because I'm the one that's going to make sure that space is available. So making that space, and even sometimes, sometimes they may want to, like, they may have side conversations, and I be respectful with it. I'll keep saying excuse me. I sound like a broken record, and I tell them all the time. I say excuse me, and I'll keep going. Then I'm like, eventually they'll get the message, and they say quiet. But guess what? At the end of the day, I'm protecting my peace, and I'm encouraging you to check to protect yours. And I'm all about doing what I got to do to better myself. So that's what 2026 model is. I'm encouraging. I'm making selfish in a positive light than negative light, because being selfish sometimes can benefit you more than anything.
All right now. All right, y'all.
That
That's
is
true.
true.
That's
Yeah,
very
it
true.
is. What part of today's conversation resonated with you to the most and why?
I say healthy boundaries, because without healthy boundaries and peace,
Mm-hmm.
you will get nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
You won't
Mm-hmm.
be. You're destroy yourself. It's
Mm-hmm.
because that means that you won't have no direction. Your directions went the other way because you become a people pleaser. Yes, 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 and no boundaries. That means you will not be. You'll have always have an empty cup, and it'll
Mm-hmm.
be dry to the bone. If you and that's what I would say that is the most part that I would that generates me the most. That it protects me the most is peaceful, healthy boundaries, and your sanity.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
got it. You got that's all within your sanity with healthy boundaries, your peace. You gotta have it. You'll be no good for nobody else. If you're no good for yourself, you be no good for nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
That's
That's what
true.
I would say.
That's true. So, what are you willing to release as you call walk fully in your calling for this year?
I got three things. Yeah, I do. So, like, my number one is like feeling guilty, like if I can't do something or like having to say no.
Hmm.
Um, Constantly feeling like pressured to like do everything or like be somewhere for like everybody. And
Mm-hmm.
the third one is like the fear of, I guess, like maybe like disappointing other people. So that's my three things: guilt, having guilt, like constantly trying to like be there for everybody, or just like being fearful of disappointing.
Okay. All right. So, how can we as sorors hold each other accountable for the rest of the boundaries and intentional living? So, pretty much when you see your sister about to lose her crown, or she done fell off, help her pick it back up. You know what I mean? Or if you see something ain't right, say something. Don't be scared to say hey, because that's what we here for, to help each other and lead each other and keep each other, pick each other up and keep us moving on. You know what I'm saying? That's what our sisterhood is about. If we see somebody lagging behind, we pick them up. You know, don't let that sister get left behind, and make sure her crown stay fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you going through, we here with you. To help you or guide you or show you something different, so that way you don't have to endure whatever you're going through, or stop dealing with whatever you got to deal with to get you on the right path where you got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what does refilling together looks like within our sisterhood, y'all? What y'all think?
I would say refilling is when someone is going through something, or that like you say, straightening each other's crown.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Like
each other up.
Bridget myself, um, we always go through. She don't know sometimes I could be at my emptiest of my cup, but whatever she say that day, it refill my cup. So
Mm-hmm.
And is that it's like you don't know what somebody could be going through. You don't
Mm-hmm.
know. They're not gonna tell you.
Mm-mm.
And it always be. I always tell myself this. Is how I always put my day is. Be careful what you say because you can't take it back. Because you never know somebody could be on the edge of being committing suicide, and God didn't kill himself.
That's true.
Be careful and be mindful what you say. I do that every single day. That's my daily reflection every single day. Is be careful what I say and be mindful what I say. Is because that person may commit suicide, and I don't want that on my watch.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Can I add to
So,
that? So this is be quick. So
go ahead.
one thing that I have like gotten out of like the sisterhood is I feel like I'm kind of like in a safe place because before this I used to keep like everything by myself, and even like now I'm putting like a little bit more of myself out there, and I've never had like issue where I didn't feel like somebody understood or somebody like cared. Like if I mention something, it's always encouraging or like uplifting. So that's like one thing that I can say that I have being able to refill together within the sisterhood. It's like having a safe space.
Can
Yeah,
I
and I
add to
feel the
that as
same
well?
way with
Mm-hmm.
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the
Mhm.
same way because I brought
Mm-hmm.
things to Danielle, and she was always like, "Liani, we been there before. It's okay to feel that way,
Mhm.
you know." And that is with the adversaries as well. I
Hmm.
felt, you know, in a safe place, like I could share something with someone, and they would give me a encouragement word. So
I
Yeah.
just want to give an analogy. When we have our cup, um, so I think about when I pour into different other cups because I'm pouring myself to others. I will hope that I'm always in limbo, wondering if they're going to pour back into my cup.
Right.
When I think of the sorority, I feel like okay, we're sitting we're sitting at a round table and we got a big platter and all our cups are lined up at the rim and then there's a big pitcher. And there's a big pitcher in the middle. So let's say we're doing something. I may pour half, you may pour a quarter, a half, or all your cup. And then the pitcher can be full. And then guess what? So like if Mayani I feel like if Miyani poured her full cup into the pitcher, and then guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna pick up that pitcher and pour and or no, better yet, this is a better way. Let's say if Miyani put in a quarter of her cup into the pitcher, and I pour my full cup into the pitcher. Guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna take that pitcher and make sure and pour a full cup for Mayani, a full cup
Mhm.
for Danielle, a full cup for Teresa, a full cup for Janelle. That's what I feel about with the sorority is that we can pour a little or a lot, but we will have the support to pour into each other's cup and
Mhm.
keep it and just keep it rotating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 that's true.
Like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that brings us to the last question. It says, what affiliation will you carry with you after this session of this podcast? Like, what we gonna carry out? What have you learned? To go forth into, as we said, go forth into the world the rest of the year. What have we learned from this?
To protect my peace.
My piece is everything. I
That's
tell everybody my piece. If it's
Yes,
gonna change
That's
a little
right.
bit, piece, Jody,
absolutely.
I don't even want you to call me with it because I ain't gonna even entertain it. I'm just gonna tell you, I'm
You
gonna be
gotta
there.
protect your peace.
My new
Mm,
thing is, okay. I
okay,
hear you, but I don't hear
whatever.
you. So, yeah, I mean, I've
My
learned to
favorite word
say.
is what.
I don't even say it's got to the point starting off. I don't even say no no more. I just
okay.
all right. I don't even give it no thought. No more. Okay.
Mhm.
If you say you can fly off a bridge, oh,
I'm like, okay,
Like, have fun.
mm,
right.
enjoy.
I have gotten to the no. I'm sick of I'm sick of dealing with it, and
Mhm.
I'm not gonna deal with it. And if it's something that I'm really not gonna deal with, I just don't say nothing. The best thing for me, because I know sometimes I can say things and they be kind of brutal. So the best thing for me is not to say nothing. I just get quiet.
Mhm.
Maybe what's wrong, man?
Mm.
I write it
No,
on
no.
paper and keep it to myself.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's the new thing for me. I gotta harvest my peace. Cause if you want to be here and be healthy and live longer, less stress, more peace.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
You
and,
know.
that's very true. You know, my mom be 90 years
Listen.
old this year, so and it's like, you know, and I could tell how her health went left a little bit. I said, Mom, why are you worrying about them people? You need to
Hmm.
worry about yourself, your peace. So what everybody
Mhm.
else do? You're accountable for yourself. Let them people be them people. You take care of you. Forget
Mhm.
them.
You're right.
And
I have.
it took her a minute to understand. Now I can see her health is like it ain't gonna be always on 100, but it's getting there. But is you know it's
Mhm.
the point. That's why I say you have to let people be people.
Hmm.
Long as you know you're doing right, you're accountable for yourself. You can't be accountable for yourself and everybody else too. You're accountable for
Mhm.
yourself. As long as you're accountable for yourself and your peace, everything will flow right in place. My favorite
Mhm.
word is whatever.
I'm telling you,
Whatever.
you're right. I have a what am I? I have a 86-year-old great uncle and an 80-something-year-old cousin. I asked my cousin, um, what because she's in good condition. Y'all, she get up, she go plant in her garden, and she do real good for herself. I said, well, what do you do to have lived this long and look so good, and you've had these many children, right? You know what she
Right.
told me? She said, I cuss they ass out.
Oh,
She said,
dang.
baby, she said, you live this long. She said, you got to say what's on your mind and get it over. She said, don't hold. She said, don't deal with it. Just
Mhm.
let them people know you're not gonna deal with it. And she
That's
said, that's not to be mean, but it's to be you stand your ground. Like just you're not gonna deal with it. And I have to learn it. And from a child being you like I said, like some of y'all said, I've always carried on others' transgressions and others' frustrations. And I'm
mhm.
learning. And I look at them, like my 86-year-old uncle, he get around better than some people my age. He
Yep.
done been around us. Seem like he drive a car. His health isn't decline or nothing. He
Wow.
he does good, gets around just fine. And every time I call my other uncle, I say, how my he doing just fine. And I tell him you
Mhm.
ask about him. He down there doing something that he moves around very good.
Right.
I want to be like that when I get 80 something. Okay.
Mhm.
Me too.
And that's the thing. They don't work. They less stressed. They don't worry about nobody. And like I said, they don't fool with no foolery. If they see something, they don't just. But yeah, my cousin said she cussed 80 something years old. She looks good, y'all. Hey, get up, cut up with the young folks, like she said. She said she keep herself going. And then she said, cuss them out. She said, I speak what's on my mind. And she's always been that way. But a pleasant person, a very welcoming person to be around. Love her to death. Love her like an aunt. She's always been there since I've been always. But like I said, that's what she said. Cuss their ass out.
I know that's
Maybe that's what I need to do to my aunt. Cuss her out all the time.
Cuss their ass out. You can they leave you alone. That's what she said. They leave you alone and they understand not to play with you. So yeah, I mean that's what I take. When I talk to the elders, that's what I take. How you
Mhm.
get so long? What are you doing that I ain't doing?
Yeah.
That's how stay away from certain people. That was the quote too. Stay away from certain
Oh,
people.
yeah. You got
Yep,
to.
definitely.
So that's the
Some
word on the
people,
street.
I, I call people joy killers.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
if and that's when I see people that every time I see you, you always got something going on. You always I ain't bothering, I ain't fooling
Mhm.
with you.
Mm-mm.
And neither both of us sitting down at the county jail. At least I got to have a reason to be down there. You just trying to be messy to be down there. I got to have a reason.
I say,
Mhm.
stay in your lane. I want to be around. I tell people all the time. I want to be around people who's going places. I want to be around people who's, if
Go
you
uplift me.
right, I
Mhm.
want to be around people who know their cups are flowing. They
Hmm.
they 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 want things out of life, and because they can inspire me. I want people that want to flow, don't get stuck. Yesterday at work, he was talking about mentorship. I said, "Oh yes, I'm gonna have a conference. Go right into the director office. I'm gonna be in his office all the time. Why? Because I don't want to be sitting there no call center for no 40 years. Just be sitting there. No, 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 no. 12, 13. No, no, no. I'm gonna find out what I need to do. How you got to places where you got to go. That's
You
what I
gotta
tell
be
Mhm.
people.
in elements where you gotta be around people who gonna elevate you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who wanna elevate you by any means. If it's somebody every time you come around, they always being negative, them are not the people to elevate you.
Nope.
Mhm.
So yeah, I can feel you on that. Like, yeah. I say the same thing though. I'm not trying to be stuck in the same position for the next 20 years and I'm still here when the next young person come around. But if only I could hit the lottery.
Yeah.
But if
Yes.
only I could hit the lottery. The lottery
Right.
changed
Sure.
my life. But yeah, pretty much from today, we understand that, our peace is everything. You gotta set
Right.
boundaries, going into forth. So that's something if you haven't start doing something you look into to kind of start doing that might help you out, less stress, more peace. That's how I look at it. So for today, that's pretty much what we're learning. You gotta set them boundaries, y'all. Keep them boundaries
Mhm.
set. Can't get mad at somebody mad at you because you set boundaries. You just know you working in the right direction. It's working, and you just keep pushing forward.
You got
Um,
to.
Yep.
so I want to thank y'all today for this podcast with
Thank
refilling my
you.
cup on purpose, and join us next month for our next podcast. Be on the lookout for it, and y'all have a good holiday weekend. And y'all enjoy.
All right.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.